So you all know that we have the dating app horrors book coming out. So in honor of our dating apps horror, I wanted to have a little story time. So if you have about 3 or 4 minutes to kick it with me, stay tuned because I want to tell y'all something that y'all are not going to believe.
Disclaimer. The following dating horror stories are brought to you by our brave finalists who live to tell the tale. The BWW5 are simply the messengers. Our lives are chaotic enough without borrowing other people's trauma. No BWW5 members were emotionally scarred in the making of this video. This time,
Honey, I can't make this shit up. In 2004, I was 28. I had a nice paying job, living in a new loft in Detroit's New Center area, single and full of hope when it came to dating. Boy, was I delusional. This was pre-dating apps, so we had to meet guys the old-fashioned way, face to face. I lived a walking distance from a fitness center. I'd walk over there to work out. I was in good shape. I went not because I really needed it and my body hadn't yet been ruined by my 2 kids, because they do be ruining the bodies, but because the upper level track went past the basketball gym. I was trying to catch the eye of one of the cuties. I had my eye on the one that always wore the headband flag. Stay away from them headband wearing mans. I made it known I was interested by turning my head to look at him when I walked past. One evening, we happened to be walking out at the same time. The initial hello turned into a 2-hour-long conversation in the parking lot. Another flag. How you got your eyes to be talking to me, sir? Okay, I digress. I learned he was my age, single, or so I thought. We would get to that and play basketball overseas. We hung a little bit before he would go back to play in Europe. He'd call me or would give me a calling card to call him, because this was pre-free long distance calling. After a few weeks, he came home. He said a couple nights with me before going back. No red flags have popped up. I'm thinking everything is good. We'd hang out most of the day. He'd go for runs or work out. Then he'd be gone for a few weeks and come back again. Now this is where it gets juicy. During the next visit, I received a phone call while he was going for a run. It was a woman. Now, if you approach me in a cool manner, I have no problem having a conversation with you. If the first word out your mouth is bitch or who the fuck are you, that gets a click, because honey, I don't entertain that, because the person you need to be checking is that dude. I'm just as surprised as you. Fortunately, she was cool. She was Bobby's. Of course, that's not his real name. His name has been lost to history. Baby mama. The child he didn't even mention to me that he had. This was back in the old days, so I'm thinking she found my number and my name on a piece of paper. Me and her, as I remember her name, let's just call her Lisa, talked for at least an hour. What we discovered: the day I talked to him in the parking lot, she was at the hospital in labor having his son. So technically, he didn't have any children, but he also failed to mention that he had one on the way. 2, when he stayed with me, when he was between games, the times that we would be going to work out, he would call her from a payphone using a calling card, calling her. We realized he did this so she would think that he was still overseas. So sir, what? Yes, and not in Detroit with his girlfriend and newborn child. No, because that would make too much sense. Number 3, there were other victims. This was found out by my excellent detective work, good for you, and him being dumb enough to give me the answer to his security question, thinking I was really interested in his favorite color in food. Sir, we don't be caring. Y'all just not smart enough to think like a woman. I was able to go to his messages and see that there were other women. Remember, this was the olden times, and texting wasn't a big thing. You had to hit 7 like 4 times just to get to the S. It took work and effort to send a message. At the time I asked him those questions is when I came out of my he's so fine, this is the one fog, and started to sense something was off. Oh, and I had sent him a picture that I regretted and had wanted to delete it from his account. But honey, we've all been there and done that. Not me though, but you know. There were other things that came out in the conversation, but because of how big the first 3 were, nothing else seemed to matter. So while still talking to Lisa, I packed his bag and went into his email, deleted my picture, read the messages, forwarded them to Lisa, changed his password, and then answered the security questions. Good luck getting back into that account, ho. And of course, he continued to call, tell me it's not what it looked like. And 21 years later, legend has it that he's still calling her trying to get into that email, honey. Sucks to be you, sir.